I think it is clear to believe in the power of ideas.
Fresh thinking to the Manhattan Institute.
Thank you very much, Mayor Johnson. I think it's clear that if Boris's political career does not work out, he can come to New York and make it as a stand-up comic. So our format's going to be, we're going to have a conversation up here for a few minutes. I'm going to take the prerogative of the moderator to ask a couple of questions, and we'll then turn it over to Q&A. There are 2 standing mics. We ask that questioners be members of the conference, so Manhattan Institute, Regional Plan Association, or Columbia University students and faculty. So first question is for you, Mayor Bloomberg. You have a house in London, and you're fond of London, and over the years you've made many policy suggestions in New York based on London policies. And I wonder if you could tell us what you think London's greatest competitive advantage is in heading back to the top.
Well, when the part of the world that's expanding most is Europe, London clearly has an advantage. They are, in some senses, more understanding of the world than America is. America is a very big country. Those oceans are very big, although sadly we found out on 9/11 not as big as we thought. But London is, the proximity to the rest of Western Europe is a decided advantage when the business is there, and particularly when the financial business is there. A lot more business will be done in London than in New York. The issue is which firms in London. If they're American firms in London doing the business, then eventually they repatriate their profits back to the United States, and they use their London profits to support their businesses here. When that's not true, when it's Latin America that's the growing part of the world and America's economy is booming, then New York has an advantage. But I've always thought that in order to be a true financial center, 2 things have to be true. English has to be the predominant language, which gives London and New York a distinct advantage, and the city has to be a family-friendly city, which gives both of these cities an advantage, because if you're going to really grow, you have to be able to bring people from around the world. They want to bring their families if they're going to move there. And so the cultural attractions and the parks and the excitement of big cities tend to attract the best and the brightest, and London and New York, and not necessarily in that order, but London and New York will always, I think, be the predominant financial markets. Now, that leads into other things, media, which is more and more in this world an English-speaking business because of the internet and because of people reading newspapers and magazines from around the world. That's an advantage for both of them. Paris certainly is a fashion capital, but London and New York probably have as many. I don't know about London, Boris, but New York has more fashion houses than Paris. London probably does as well. Each of these businesses that require intellectual capital are businesses where London and New York should star. And if one of us catches a cold, you can rest assured the other will as well. Our businesses are indelibly intertwined and go up and down together.
So, Mayor Johnson, what do you think is New York's greatest competitive advantage?
Can you hear me? New York's greatest competitive advantage is simply that it is the unrivaled financial center of a massive single market in North America, and that is something that London, by geography, cannot quite offer, in the sense that we are an island location, and although we are very important and powerful in the European Union, we are not the sole. Not representative of the sole government of the European Union, and that's I think, an advantage that that New York has over London. When you come to New York, you know that you've got access to the entire North American market. Thankfully, the City of London does represent infinitely the best starting off place for anybody who wants to export to Europe, anybody who wants to to invest in Europe, and therefore it retains its fantastic lead, which is obviously a matter of such envy on the part of some other European governments, to which I earlier alluded. Of the lifestyle in New York. And if I had to, all these things that we've been talking about, all these